The government is really, really afraid because one, this is a government that when got voted in, they established, they formed the government, appoint CSs and all other important government persons. And then when they actually got into their first year, second year, the things that they promised were not delivered. Most of them, we had like I watched some of an interview with the majority leader Kimani Chunga when he went, I think, to London. He was interviewed with some guy called Mehdi, and they said out of the promises, it's like only 14% of the promises made were delivered, but most of them were not met. And then later, when the population realized that these were not met, then they started asking the government questions, and they went to the street asking government to give answers. And later, the government actually reacted in a very, very different way that actually angered the people again. And that was when the government tried to suspend the cabinet and then went into what Ruto promised that he will never do, which is forming, a broad-based government. Because when Ruto was campaigning, his main issue was that he will never allow anything called like broad-based government or handshake or
Handshakes.
nusmukati
Mm,
or what like that. But when it actually came to power, when he
mhm.
came to power, and then he realized that his government was getting a lot of opposition. He had no option but had to go for political marriage with his opponent, who was actually he's running against him, which is Raila Odinga. And then he brought in members of Raila Odinga's political party to form part of the government. And so many people felt so bad about it because they felt that that was the main thing that Ruto promised that he will never do. But when he came into power, he actually did it. And in another move, what he did was that when he tried to, I think, just to take Raila Omolo Odinga to the AU seat so that maybe he won't have a lot of impact back home. But then when Raila failed that, he came back and he legally now established the broad-based government with signed document, and that I feel angered the Kenyans so much. So right now, William Ruto feels kind of like vulnerable because his government, so many people, Kenyans including, are seeing that the government of Ruto is standing because of Raila Omolo Odinga. If it wasn't because of Raila Omolo Odinga, like that government would have been overthrown.